Ahoy there, and welcome back to Building with the Boys. We have received today parts 13, 14, 15, and 16 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. It's eclectic, this one. We're jumping all over the boat. So we're not focused on any one part. We are literally all over the place. So in the ones coming up, so today's in issue 13, we are adding some more elements to the WoW deck, which we started last month. We've also got coming up the officers' quarters, so our first parts of superstructure, proper parts of superstructure. We'll be building the officers' quarter, laying some decking on it, some details. We receive a large piece of keel in that pack, but we're not installing it yet. We also have the first class gymnasium and what will essentially be the skylight to the grand staircase. We're building that. And we also have a very large piece of the hull, which we'll be doing as well. Now, we are bouncing around all over the place. Now, I've seen some of the comments on social media about it's eclectic, we're going all over, why aren't we just focused on one thing? Trust me, having built Iron Man, that was the best part of a year just building the legs, it was unbelievably dull. I like the fact that we're jumping around all over the place. It is going to be a bit of a nuisance for storing all of these parts, but honestly, if we spent the next 18 months just building the hull, you'd lose interest real quick. Honestly, if a month's worth was just, here are 4 pieces of the hull, and you screwed them and you'd lose interest quick. Believe me, having to the Iron Man legs was one of the dullest experiences ever, to the point where I nearly quit the build. So I don't mind that we're leaping about a bit. It's all right for me. So in 13, we are going to, there's something else of note as well in 13. Inside 13 was this, they've added, and it says, due to a production problem, the fair lead rollers, 13E, and the winches, 13G, supplied with this issue are the incorrect colour. Do not use glue to stick parts 13E and 13G in place, step 3 and 4. Replacements will be supplied with issue 21. So issue 21, so not next month, the month after, we'll get replacements of these. So you can fit these loosely and just take them off when the replacements come. Or if you do glue them, you can paint them. Now, again, they said they got the colours wrong, and it's decent enough they're looking at it and going, you know what, we got that wrong, we're going to replace them. I've seen people losing their minds about they got the colours completely wrong. They didn't get the colours completely wrong, did they? They got them completely wrong. The boat would have been green with pink spots, but it isn't, is it? I mean, it's very, just because the tone might be off what you think it is. And again, no one knows. It's what pleases your eye, basically. It's your model, do it your way. Don't be pressured into thinking that, no, it has to be this as your, no, it doesn't. It's what you want it to be. It's your model. If you're happy with it as it is, you're happy with it as. If you're happy with it stock, you're happy at stock. If you want to paint it, you go ahead and you paint it. You do whatever colours you want to do. But it is nice that they're at least acknowledging that, no, this is way off. Because these are winches, and they've made the winches white. Which is like, well, no, they certainly didn't paint winches white. That definitely is wrong. So, yeah, that does get changed out in this one. So be aware of that. We're not using glue to put 13E and 13G. That's the fair lead rollers and the winches in place. Those will be changed. We will get replacements. So we're going to get into this one. With this, what you actually get is a fairly hefty lump of keel. But you're just not going to use it. So this one is just, we're adding parts like what we did for the forecastle. Anyway, let's get it open, let's have a look at it. Let's get this done. And then after that, we're going to have a discussion about the Electric Camel, which, despite its name, is not a strip club. We'll find out what it is at the end. Okay, so let's get this one open and take a look at the parts that come with issue 13. We do have a massive piece of keel there, but we're not going to be using it in this issue. So this is what we have. So this is our hefty keel piece. There's a big old lump, that really is. That's got some weight to it as well. It's very nice, but we're not going to be using it. So we're going to wrap that back up for now. And let's put that to the side. So this is what we are going to be using in this issue. Let's take a look at these pieces. So here we are. So I will locate the ones that they're saying not to glue, which are the winches. There we go. And these very little pieces in here. We'll get a closer look at them when they come. So it's these winches here. They're saying don't glue those, even though there is advice to glue them. I would advise, truthfully, not gluing any of this stuff. If it'll hold, let it hold, and then at the very end of the model, then glue it. Because what you don't want to find out is them later on go, oh, you know what, we got this one wrong as well, and you've got to try and rip super glue off your model. So if it will just hold, put it in and just let it hold. would be my advice until the end, and then when you want it all glued down at the end, do it then. But let me grab the weld deck and we'll start installing these elements. First thing we do is we install the 4 bits. I'll put the first one in just as a test fit to see if they need to be held with glue. They don't, they're all perfectly firm. This is all quite simple. We're just going to take our bits. We're going to install in like this, and they're just push to fit. There we go. Nothing complicated about this. Another one up here. And then our final one, which, Houston, we have a problem. I can't find. So let me find the missing bit. Okay, so I have a fairly weird problem. I've got the bits that fit in there. Now, I do actually have multiples of some of the issues, so I've probably got a replacement bit. I'm still going to ask Hachette for one anyway, because that's what I pay for. Now, what they gave me instead, this is quite bizarre, was with the bits. But it's not a bit. What this is, if I can get this to focus, you see that? What that is this white winch that they're going to replace in issue 21. That's what they're going to replace it with. I've already got the replacement part, but I've only got one of them. How weird is that? Okay, well look, it's not a big deal. We're missing one of the bits, and Hachette will send me another one. It's fine. That's the way it will. We're just going to move on with everything else. So this is the next part we are going to need. And this is the large air vent. Now, again, they are advising use glue for this one, but we'll take a look at it and see if it does or doesn't need glue in. Nah, it ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So, I mean, again, you can glue it, but again, having seen we're changing this and we're changing that, I won't be gluing anything. I won't be gluing anything at this point. I just don't, I don't trust that. Now, in here are the fair lead rollers. Now, these are 2 of the other parts that they said they're going to be replacing. So let's get these out and take a look at them. And it's this part here. So this here will be the fair lead roller that they're going to replace. And these will be replaced with, I'm assuming, metallic ones. Now, they do advise to glue these. We're not going to do that. We're just going to pop them in. Now, those would need, yeah, there's no way those would hold. Those would need gluing. Yeah. So we're just not going to do it. We're just not going to do it until it's in the replacements. We're certainly not going to glue these in. But we'll pop them in to take a look. But that's how those will look. But when you do get the replacements, they definitely will need gluing. So hopefully you've heeded their advice and you haven't glued these in yourself, because if you have, you're going to have a bad time, because they are going to need to come out. But those are incredibly loose fitting. I think, yeah, I think even with glue you'd have a problem with that. Let's see if we can get tweezers on that and push that down a little bit more. I do find the fact they've sent me, instead of 4 bits, one of the replacement parts already. How surreal is that? I mean, I suppose it does mean I can fit one of the actual replacement winches. There we go. Yeah, those are never going to hold. But that's where those go. We'll wait for the replacement parts to sort those ones out. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to install the winches. Now, so the winches are going to go here, and they go this way round. So we're going to put the first one in. So there's winch number 1. Now that will just come back out, and they are saying glue it, don't glue it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, I've got the replacement winch already. How weird is this? So I'm going to pop one in anyway, so we can kind of see the difference automatically. So that's what you've got. That's what you'll be getting, basically. So this winch will be swapped out for the grey winch. This is a bit of a disaster of a pack, if I'm honest. I mean, this isn't good. So that's how you're going to look. So this is what they've sent you. These are what they're going to send you to replace this winch. But bizarrely, they've sent me that instead of the bit. Weird. Right. Then finally, we've got these little pieces here, which are going to pop in here, and another one just there. And the last thing we have is 2 steps. Now these steps will go into one of the buildings that leads up to the well deck, that leads up to the superstructure. But that's what these are. So if you're kind of confused what these bits are, they're steps. They will go into the building this goes in front of. And those should pop in. They have different sized lugs. This isn't going to go in one way round. There's a big lug and a small lug. There we go. That's that one in. And then we have the large lug and small lug again. Now again, if you're doing this, I've seen people say they couldn't get theirs to sit flush. It's probably because you put them in the wrong way round. There are 2 different sized lugs. So there's a big lug and a little lug. If you put them the wrong way round, that's where you can have a bad time. So that's done. So that is that part. Really not complete, but as complete as I can complete it, because we're missing the bit. We're swapping at the winch, and these 2 are going to be placed with the correct coloured part. So it's as done as I can do it for this stage. It might be worth skipping this one when you come to it, and just putting it to one side. Until they send the replacements in 21, but that is where we are with that part. That is kind of complete. Number 13 complete. It's annoying. It's annoying. I mean, I can't deny that. That is annoying. I mean, they are changing these out for us. These will be swapped out for the correct colours, the more metallic colours. But again, I would just be very cautious with your glue, because how many more times are they going to do that? You know, they might say, because I believe they're changing the breakwater on the forecastle as well. So if you've glued that down, you're going to have a bad time, or you're going to have to paint it. So I'd be cautious with the glue. If you don't have to glue it, don't glue it yet. I'd wait and see what's going to come of it before you start gluing these things down, because yeah, how many more times they're going to change on us. I do find that truly bizarre that they've already sent me the replacement they're going to send through, but I've got the metallic coloured winch instead of the white winch. It's very weird, very weird. Missing bit, but one of those instead. Surreal. But that's that one done. Anyway, if you are just here for the instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps our channel massively. And we love having you here. We enjoy interacting with you all in the comments, and it's nice to have some buddies to build along with. But if you are sticking around for a Titanic history lesson, we're going to be discussing the Electric Camel. Now, as I said, the Electric Camel, not a strip club. So that's one of the only things they didn't have on board the Titanic. What the Electric Camel was is exactly what it sounds like. It was an electric camel. Kind of like what you get with, I wouldn't go as far as say a mechanical bull, but it wasn't far off it. In the gym, they had various gym equipment, but it wasn't like gyms you have today. So running machines, for instance, weren't a thing. Because again, I mean, if you think about it, a running machine is the ultimate sort of opulence. You can't just run. You don't need a machine to do it. You can't just run around a block. I mean, you have to have a very, very, very unique living situation that you couldn't run somewhere. So you could run around the deck if you wanted to run. They didn't see the point in putting running machines in. But they did see the point in putting in a rowing machines. There was a rowing machine on the Titanic. There was also what was known as Indian clubs. And Indian clubs, you still see them today. Some people still swear by these things, that they're a good workout method. I can't see it now. I mean, honestly, I'm seriously not a gym person by any means. Honestly, I look like a porridge filled rubber glove filled with porridge. So before, you know, Dean from Fitness First jumps on and says, I think you'll find Indian clubs just look weird. They're basically a bowling pin. They look like a bowling pin, weighted, and you swing them in certain patterns, and then the resistance builds muscle. That was the theory. They had boxing equipment. So these were kind of the sports that were sort of the day. So rowing would have been a big thing. Boxing was still seen as kind of a gentleman's sport, bizarrely. And they also had an electronic horse, so you could get on the horse and practice your, practice your equestrianism, be it for a polo match or something like that. You could essentially ride a horse on board the Titanic in this electrical thing that would jog like a horse. But then bizarrely, they had an electric camel. So like the electric horse, they had an electric camel, which replicated the gait of a camel. So you could ride a camel on board the Titanic. Apparently, it was very good for the liver. How, I don't know, but it was seen as some sort of medicinal thing to ride this thing. It was good for the liver. I don't know, man. Here's a picture of somebody enjoying the electric camel. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if this thing was meant to be workout equipment or health equipment or an amusement, but it's bloody weird. I mean, it's the ultimate in opulence as well. Nobody on board the Titanic probably. I mean, this wasn't a deal breaker for anyone, was it? Nobody was like, "Well, have they got an electric camel? Well, then I'm not going." So it's a very bizarre thing to have on board, but it was just indulgence, and I suppose it was offering something others didn't. You know, it's we've got that much stuff. We've even got electric camel. Just weird. But again, I mean, it's one of those things where Titanic had this excess of stuff that it didn't need, and was seriously lacking things it did need. Not just lifeboats. I mean, you know, maybe another toilet for the steerage passengers, or you know, another shower for them. But yeah, an electric camel. So they had, rather bizarrely, in the gym on the Titanic, you could ride a mechanized camel. It's so weird. That's all for this one. Coming up in 14, we have got the roof of the officers' quarters. Now, eventually, this is where one of our funnels is going to attach to. And the officers' quarters is the very building that Lightoller dived from the top of when it was time for him to leave the vessel. So we'll be building the officers' quarters in the next issue. We'll also be discussing on whether or not it is possible to get so drunk that you're immune from the effects of hypothermia, in a very bizarre story involving a survivor of the Titanic. We'll be discussing all that. If you've enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. The like button, it helps us massively. Honestly, it helps us a lot. So hitting that does us a huge favour. If you've enjoyed this, please let us know. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. And you can see all of this build right through to issue 140. We're going right to the end with this one. And we'd love to have you here. As I said, it's great hearing from all of you. If you got any comments, suggestions, questions, please pop them in the comments below, or you can contact me at buildwiththeboys@outlook.com. We will catch you very shortly with issue 14 of Build the Titanic. Until then, in a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice, and we'll see you next time.